Hello everyone. While staying at home and having basically little to do, I found myself getting into a very interesting topic, one that I never thought I would be able to sit down and watch, and that is tarantulas. Tarantulas are an extremely interesting creature, and I'm happy to be able to sit down and be able to look at them without being creeped out. And I'm also very happy to be able to talk about that with you guys today. So, we have three main points to talk about when talking about tarantulas. We have what is a tarantula, first off, then we have New World versus Old World, and then finally some tarantula misconceptions. So, starting off, well, what is a tarantula? National Geographic, the website, states that a tarantula is quite simply a large, hairy spider. These are the type of spiders, these are the type of spiders that you would see traveling the woods, very tree-heavy areas, just crawling around the ground and burrowing into the dirt to create these big or big enough holes for them to get into, and using that as their shelter. But preferably something covering the top of the hole with maybe a rock or a branch, or sometimes even more man-made stuff like boats that have been left around. They'll use that to cover up their shelter or go under it. In addition to that, what else that makes a tarantula is something else that tarantulas and other spiders share is their ability to molt. Now, the molting process is one that allows them to grow. They have an exoskeleton, which means that their skeleton is on the outside of their body, encasing everything else inside of it. They have this, and it hinders their ability to grow their skeletons naturally. So instead, they have to go through the process of molting, which is essentially shedding your skeleton. It's quite a bit of a process, but once you get out of that, you have a much bigger tarantula. It's interesting. Next up, now that we talked about what is a tarantula, basic things, let's talk about the New World versus the Old World. Now, a New World tarantula is a tarantula that's in the Western Hemisphere, or at least born from there. Tarantulas that come from there. These type of tarantulas have this first defense, this ability or trait called the urticating hairs. These are barb-like hairs that protrude from their bodies, and is a defense against other animals that will try to touch them. If they touch it, and it would hurt them. For us, it only causes a rash, but for other animals, it could be more devastating. So that's what they have. Old World tarantulas come from the Eastern Hemisphere, but they don't have these urticating hairs. Now, to compensate for that loss of defense, they are more aggressive, their poison is a lot more toxic, and they're a lot faster. They're all of those things combined because of the loss of the urticating hair. So these are the type of tarantulas that you really don't want to be around, or you don't want to handle, or even if you're a pet owner, these are the ones that you have to really keep an eye on. So that's the difference between New World and Old World. Now that we talked about that, let's talk about some basic misconceptions. So, the one thing that people are always afraid of is the harm that a tarantula can do to a person, and that's just not true. A tarantula is not that harmful to a person. Their poison is something that's meant to kill animals that are much more smaller than us. So at the very least, the poison won't hurt us at all, and the bite will probably be equivalent to a sting. It might hurt, but it's not going to hurt as bad as anything else that could hurt you. In addition to that, your fear that we all share for them, it's something that's not realistic, because these creatures are actually much more afraid of us than we are of it. At the end of the day, if you consider all of the creatures that can come after this creature, it's extremely small in comparison. Wolves, bears, and all that other things. And that's why, at the end of the day, they just want to be left alone. They're very afraid, very squeamish creatures. And I think that it's important to know that when it comes to observing them and respecting them from a distance, even if you're a pet owner, you have to make sure that you aren't bothering them too much, or you aren't trying to handle them. And that's it. That's it. At the end of the day, tarantulas are amazing creatures that I believe that we all should respect from a distance and love at the end of the day. Thank you.